There's a common misconception that Palestinians of African descent are called slaves or al-abd or al-abeed. But this couldn't be exactly further away from the truth, and many Zionists like to propagandize this propaganda to steer away black people from supporting Palestine. Now, Palestinians of African descent are not from slaves. Rather, they are from 7th century, 12th century onward African migrants who moved from places like Sudan, Nigeria, Chad, etc. into Palestine and going to Mecca, and on their way back home, some of them actually settled in Palestine, especially in Jerusalem, because of the prominence and the holy site that Masjid al-Aqsa plays in Islam. During the British Mandate system, the British employed a number of Africans from places like Nigeria, Senegal, Chad, and Sudan to establish and build the railways in British Mandate Palestine. And in 1948 and onwards, when the Zionist militias were attacking the Palestinians, many of these African migrants sided and joined forces with the Arab armies to fight against, or I should say with the Arab factions, to fight against the Zionist militia, and to fight against the Zionist colonization of Palestine, and to protect Masjid al-Aqsa. It is because of the devotion and the piety of these African Muslims that the Mufti of Jerusalem at the time, through the Islamic Waqf, gave a quarter of Jerusalem to these African migrants because of their piety and to honor them and show them respect.
Additionally, African presence in Palestine has existed for over 1,000 years. After the Crusades ended, Salah ad-Din Ayyubi invited the Ethiopian Christian monks to return to Palestine. The Ethiopian Christian monks, along with their pilgrims, are even exempt from paying the jizya. Rabat al-Busayri was built by the Mamluks in 1267, and Rabat al-Mansuri was built in 1282 to host Muslim pilgrims visiting Jerusalem. Additionally, African presence was in Palestine even during the Ottoman era, where Africans served as guardians of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Under the British Mandate, the Islamic Waqf released Rabat al-Busayri and Mansuri to the African Muslim pilgrims due to their dedication, piety, loyalty for guarding the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Additionally, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, who granted this decision after some disagreements over it, 6 of his bodyguards were of African origins. Palestinians of African descent played a great role in resisting against British colonialism during the Mandate era. When British troops were arresting the Mufti of Jerusalem, Hajj Amin al-Husseini, one of the Mufti's guards, Hajj Othman Takruri, who was of African descent, was trying to stop the British forces from arresting the Mufti, which resulted in the British shooting him to unaliving, basically to DIE. Similarly, in 1948, Mohammed Tariq al-Afriki, a Palestinian with Nigerian ancestry, was the commander of protecting the neighborhood of East Jerusalem, Jabal al-Mukabir, from falling to the Zionists. What also needs to be made mention is that simply because one may see a Palestinian with dark skin, this does not mean that the Palestinian person is automatically of African descent. People can be from the Middle East or even from South Asia and have dark skin. There are Levantine people who have different skin complexions. Not everybody in that region is pale or fair skinned. I say this as a reminder for us to not assume people's ancestry or lineage on the basis of skin color alone, as this does lead to racism and prejudice in beliefs. And it also feeds into this Orientalist colonialist view where we're just contrasting people from different classified so-called races, as though people cannot have multiple intersectionalities in their existence.
Now, in Islam, the term abd and abid does not mean slave in the Western connotation sense, like wade in the water, chattel slavery, the pan plantation, I think there. However, in the Islamic sense, the term abd and abid denotes a form of piety to God and God alone. Hence, so many Muslims, regardless of complexion, whether they are very white or pale in their skin or very dark in their skin color, we name the children Abdullah to show servant to God and God alone. You will not call yourself Al-Jabbar, rather you will use the term Abd al-Jabbar. You will not call yourself Ar-Rahim, rather you will use the term Abd al-Rahim, servant or a slave to the most merciful, the most generous, Al-Malik, which is like the king. You'll call yourself the slave of whatever is one of God's 99 names. There's also another misconception that many Zionists like to propagate in regards to Palestinians of African descent, which is that their neighborhoods are called prisons. Neighborhoods like Ribat al-Mansouri and Ribat al-Busari were never initially prisons. These neighborhoods under the Ottomans before the Arab Revolt were used to accommodate and host Muslim pilgrims from all over the world. When they were going to Mecca and they stopped in Palestine, it was used to accommodate them. However, during the Hashemite-led Arab Revolt, the Ottomans converted these neighborhoods into prisons to punish the Arabs who were revolting against the Ottoman Empire. Now, as you see, Zionists like to distort the history, and I hope this helped. And quit lying the pan-Palestinian though.